Alright, this is total vindication, okay? I made a playlist saying this is what's wrong with the exercise science literature and why none of it really means anything. Jeremy Ethier publishes his preprint, puts it online, and everything I said that's wrong with the exercise science literature, he's done it all. I plan on revisiting that stuff and relating it to his study so that people have a context to understand why none of this stuff really means anything. But for now, I'd just like to focus on the things that are uniquely wrong about his study, because there's a bunch of other stuff that gets introduced now. I'll put links to the original ResearchGate articles that I uploaded, or if you want to hear me speak it, if that's easier for you, I'll also link to the YouTubes that I uploaded, which is just me reading what I've written. So something that strikes me as being immediately relevant is Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you're trying to study one arm at a time, and you're doing, say, the pec fly like this, well, if I'm just sitting here doing this, there's now an equal and opposite reaction. So what you're usually going to do is end up using the other arm to counterbalance, which means really you're just using both arms. So the right arm is where we see the movement taking place. So we think that's the one that's being exercised. But the machine is producing its own equal and opposite force, which is acting on the body, wanting to twist it around. So in order to counterbalance that, we need to use the other arm to produce an equal and opposite force to counter that. So if we zoom out, we can see they've put a chair there for him to hold on to balance himself. And if you're asking me why have I done some shoddy job in MS Paint instead of using AI, this is why. Now the exercise they're using for the deltoids not only has the exact same problem, but it has a different problem that I pointed out elsewhere, which is that you can use the lats to push the weight across at these more stretched positions for the deltoid. By the way, I've lost like 15 kg since I shot the footage on the right, so I should be able to get better readings and demonstrate better how the latissimus works when I redo the EMG stuff in probably a week or so. Once again, Newton's third law completely destroys the glute exercise in the stretch position, but this time for a different reason. This woman is standing in a very unstable way on one leg, so if she's really going to push using her glutes in the stretch position, she's going to push herself backwards. So she really doesn't have the purchase to actually use her glutes in the stretch position. Because this is a machine that's guided along a path, she can simply use her body weight to push downwards, and the machine is going to convert that into forwards movement. They've put a bar there that she can use to stabilize herself, but that's only relevant at the end of the exercise when the machine is pushing her forward. And as I've described in my videos on punching, the physics of punching, if her arm is locked straight in that position, then she can transfer that force through her bones rather than her muscles. So she's not going to have to actually be all that strong in her triceps, for example, in order to counterbalance that weight. So you can see the arm that corresponds with the leg that's being exercised is the one that straightens when the contraction takes place. Interestingly, even as a novice, she seems to understand this intuitively, that the stretch position isn't actually working very well.
Most of them were predicting the exact opposite.
I think my left leg, which is the one that gets harder near the end, is going to more.
Really?
Just because it's harder.
So now the final remaining exercise is the rear deltoid. Once again, we have the same problem where he's having to anchor with his other hand, meaning he's actually using both sides of his body in this contraction. But now we have the added confounder where this is really not isolating the rear deltoid well at all. the rhomboids are involved, maybe the lats, the triceps. I'm going to show an example of me truly isolating the rear deltoid, taking into account Newton's third law, and show you just how weak the rear deltoid actually is. So I plan to film that footage today. I'll upload it soon enough. So if you like and subscribe, you'll see it on your homepage. So that's it for now. See you later.